In today's episode of Today in World War II, February 22nd, the Soviets captured two key islands off of Viipuri. German battle cruisers pick up a unescorted convoy and wreak havoc. FDR personally orders MacArthur to leave the Philippines before Corregidor falls. Bomber Harris is named Chief of Bomber Command, and Mark Clark finally pulls his thumb out and replaces Truscott-MacArthur with another general, John Lucas. Let's get started. Okay, so on February 22nd, 1940, the Soviet 43rd Division attacked across the frozen waters of the Gulf of Finland, and they were aiming to capture two islands, Lassisari and Koivisto. What's interesting to note, I mean, since I speak Finnish, I love Finnish names. Lassisari actually means glass island. Okay. And then, anyway, so they were being smart, right? So they were pounding the fins in one sector, like I've been describing the last week's worth of videos, and then causing, getting penetrating in one or two places, forcing them to withdraw, and now they were flanking the Finns. They were using the weather in their favor. Finally, the ice was still thick enough. It was cold enough where they could get tanks and trucks across the ice. They were able to flank the Finns that way, and they wanted to get these islands because they were strategically located. They had lots of cannon and artillery there, which if they were able to capture them intact, then they would be able to turn them on Viipuri and do a lot of damage. Fortunately, before before the Finns abandoned the islands in the face of this unbeatable onslaught, they did sabotage all the guns and the coastal batteries, so they were able to at least deny their use to the attacking Soviets. But as you can see, the noose is tightening ever more tightly every day this goes by as we get closer to March. There's no reason to tighten your noose. I'm not going to put a noose on you. Maybe your conscience will tighten up, but I don't think that there's no noose involved. What's the key question? Will you or will you not become a subscriber to my channel? I hope you do, because if you do, you get the satisfaction of knowing that you're helping a poor content creator get ever closer to his goal of getting this content in front of as many people as possible. So all you gotta do is just click subscribe, click on the bell that notifies you when I drop a video. That's it. That's all you have to do. On February 22nd, 1941, the German battle cruisers Scharnhorst and Gneisenau came upon a convoy, empty convoy, unescorted convoy that was heading back from the UK across the Atlantic back to Canada. And they took full advantage of that. They sank three British cargo ships and two tankers for a total of 25,000 tons. They killed 10 Allied sailors, merchants, and 180 were taken prisoner. Uh, Scharnhorst, until its ultimate demise in late 1943, they were the ultimate vultures. They were the ultimate gatherers of low-hanging fruit because they made a living on attacking lone merchant vessels, or in this case, like you see, they were not escorted, or in some cases, they were not escorted enough to drive off a battle cruiser or two. Like, for example, they just had a couple of destroyers or something escorting the convoys. So they made a living on that for a long time until finally their turn came and to pay the butcher's bill. And but in the meantime, it was always a happy time when those two battle cruisers could come upon unescorted merchant vessels. And today was a good day for them. It'll be even a better day for me if you do the minimum, that's required of us as human beings to help each other out, which would be to like the video and leave a comment. Maybe just say "Boo, Scharnhorst," whatever it is. If you do that, the YouTube algorithm will love you because it'll say, "Oh, he's engaging, he's getting engagement," and therefore they're going to show this to more people, and that helps my channel grow. Thank you. On February 22nd, 1942. Let's give you a recap of the situation in the Philippines. MacArthur's holed up on Corregidor Island. His troops, main troops, are on Bataan, slowly getting pushed back to the sea, and things are looking dire. There's no way in the world that they're going to win that battle. MacArthur had been urged by the his superiors in Washington to evacuate. He was refusing. In fact, he even went so far as to threaten to resign and re-enlist as a private. I don't know. That was just, he's a drama queen a little bit sometimes. But anyway, this time Roosevelt personally ordered him as his commander in chief to lead the Philippine Islands. And so the Americans sent a submarine to evacuate Philippine President Quezon and his government. MacArthur was evacuated in a PT boat. He came very close to getting captured or sunk, but somehow were able to get through. They got through to Mindanao, and then they took a B-17 into Australia. So, and it wasn't just MacArthur, it was his family as well, his wife as well. So it was a very narrow escape for MacArthur. On February 22nd, 1943, Bomber Harris, Air Marshal Sir Arthur Harris, was appointed Chief of Bomber Command, and his assignment was very simple. Screw going after military and industrial targets. We don't know how to do it. We can't do it. We're not going to fly like in daylight like the Americans. We don't want our crews to get slaughtered. But we have to admit that we cannot accurately target industrial or military targets. So what are we going to do? We're just going to say, screw it. We're going to just bomb the heck out of the most densely built up areas of German cities. And that's what they did. And the bombing directive said that if they can't go after the factories, then the least they can do is destroy the homes and the morale of the workforce. Well, they certainly accomplished the first part of it. They did make, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of people homeless. 100% that's true. But post-war studies showed that they didn't really affect the morale of the workforce. That's always been the biggest fallacy, somehow thinking that you can bomb a population into submission. They disregard patriotism and the fact that people just get obstinate and say, you know what, we're going to keep going no matter what. But they didn't understand that yet. And as we covered, um, I think it was yesterday or the day before, uh, the bombing of Dresden was probably the biggest black eye that Bomber Harris had. And I'm not sure he ever lived it down. I know that he continued to claim after the war that it was a legitimate target, but you know, there's controversy about that. And like I said, I'm on the fence either way. And lastly, on February 22nd, 1944, the commanding general of the American forces in Italy, Mark Clark, no big prize there. Finally, after how many days of just absolute incompetence by Lucian Truscott in Anzio, he fired Truscott and put John Lucas there in his place, kind of like trying to close the barn door after the horses have already escaped. By this time, Kesselring was entrenched around Anzio. They were fighting for their lives. I mean, anybody could have been better. My tabby cat named Bear probably would have been a better general than Lucian Truscott at Anzio. I mean, he was just a total failure. So, a few months later, they do break out of Anzio. Kesselring, abandoned the Gustav line. It was a combination of attacks from Anzio and from uh, the Gustav line. Not really sure if even the Anzio invasion, the flanking maneuver really made that much difference at all, except kill more American and British soldiers. But regardless, that's what he did today. Like I said, whoops, whoopee, right? Well, whoopee to you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much for the support, and I will talk to you tomorrow.